How's it going, motherfuckers, and welcome to your wrestling news. So I promised on the Brad Rand's channel that I was going to start doing some regular news updates for more to talk about on here. Just going down the dirt sheets. We all know that they're not 100% true, and that a lot of this stuff doesn't even, end up happening, but some of it does. So, figured to entertain you better, I will start doing some wrestling news. So, just gonna write down a few, hot topics that are on the dirt sheets and just discuss them going forward. And, let me know in the comments, guys, if you enjoy this stuff and you want to see this be like a regular thing here on this channel. So, first news item I got here is that Vader is getting open heart surgery. And I wasn't even aware of this, but a doctor had told him following a car accident back in 2016 that he has 2 years to live. And this hasn't really been talked about, but this is really depressing. I hope that this is not true. I hope the doctors are wrong. Doctors are wrong a lot of the time. They misdiagnose patients all the time. But they said part of this is due to his football and wrestling career. And I guess it has to do with trauma and all that. But, Vader has to go in. It also has to do with his weight. There's a lot of factors involving this. But 2 years, that would mean that at the end of this year, the doctors are expecting Vader to die. And, Vader is one of the greatest of all time. He's one of the best big men. He made my top 10 big man list, and he placed very high on it. But this is not a matter of numbers and who's the best. This is a man dying, and this is really, really sad to read. I wasn't aware of this story. Maybe the information was out there and I just, glossed over it by accident. But yeah, apparently Vader is going in for this massive surgery, and he doesn't even have a lot of time to live, so he's not even going to be able to enjoy the benefits of this surgery. By the time he starts to feel better, if he does at all, he might pass away. And I hope to God that we don't get that news item later on this year. So God bless Vader, and I hope the guy pulls through, and I hope the doctors are wrong on that. Bryan will be tested after every match. This is a Dave Meltzer, Magoo, Wrestling Observer, article that he put out, but this one sounds like it might be true. And like I said, sometimes the Wrestling Observer, they do get leaks. Meltzer goes on a lot of wrestling podcasts and stuff. He gets invited on, so he does schmooze with the industry. You can't say he's completely in the dark all the time. So Bryan getting tested after every match makes a lot of sense. They want to test the neurological stability of the man. The WWE doctors are going to probably keep a close eye on him. They're going to be looking for trauma. They're going to be looking for any sign of concussions. And I will probably say that if they find anything, like recently, within that testing phase that they're going to be putting Bryan through, I think his in-ring career is going to be over in WWE. And being a big Daniel Bryan fan, I would support that, because I'm not selfish. I had said this time and time again in the past. You gotta cover your bases, because you already know if something happens to Bryan, something horrible that I don't even want to say because I don't even want to jinx it, and God forbid anything bad happens to him, his family's going to sue the company, and that's going to happen. So they got to cover their asses, and they got to make sure that this guy is not susceptible. But like I said, on SmackDown, he shouldn't have even been going in there and taking such high bumps right away. Now, I'm sure he's been in training, but people were saying that, he agreed to those bumps. I understand that. But if they already have to put this in place, that he has to get tested after every single match, they might want to pace themselves a bit with Bryan. Already Bryan had said, and they even brought this up, I believe it was also in the Wrestling Observer newsletter, that Bryan had said on the Edge and Christian show back in August of last year that he wasn't interested in the full-time schedule to begin with. So, that might have been just how he was feeling now. Now that he's able to wrestle, that how passionate the guy is about that and how much he's wanted to return to the ring since 2016 and probably 2015 since he got injured. And it was so frustrating because he only had a few months back because he'd already been previously injured in 2014 when he had to relinquish the world title. So, he's probably going to want to go full frontal. I would not be surprised at all if he wants to, get rid of the GM role and just start going full force, back into wrestling. But, by all means, if they see anything like the lesions on his brain getting worse, then they need to get him out of the ring for good. Rey Mysterio is going to be seeing a WWE doctor about his torn bicep. I will say this, at least it's not his knee. I was talking about this in the previous video, but at least it's not Rey's knee. That's the reason kind of why he, didn't really get to be in the ring too much in 2014. He started off the year, and the way how Rey left the company, it was a real shame. I mean, I don't even really remember Rey's last appearance. Was it in the Royal Rumble? But whenever it was, he got booed when he came out. When everyone was expecting Daniel Bryan and he came out at number 30, Rey Mysterio got booed. And, it was horrible. It also started to show, how bad the crowds were getting. I mean, I understand that we were pushing for Bryan, and that was different than how it is now a bit, but that's really when the cracks started to show, when WWE was losing total control of their crowd. But Rey Mysterio is interested in the WWE return. WWE is interested in Rey Mysterio coming back. And, you want to talk about dream matches. It would be great to see an AJ versus Rey Mysterio match. I mean, if you want to talk about dream matches, now that would be a match that I'd want to see more than a Nakamurphy match. That's you want to talk about I don't dream about wrestling matches like some of the goofballs out there, but that definitely is a match I would consider to be a dream match. Bray Wyatt's character being changed. I would not be surprised at all about this. Bray Wyatt has been doing this character on WWE television now for what's going to be 5 years. And they really haven't gotten anywhere with it. I mean, Bray Wyatt won a world championship in 2017, which I thought was pretty pathetic. That, this guy, for all intents and purposes, he should have been a world champion in 2014. I mean, that should have been the year when he was crowned champion. They should have never waited that long. Around the time he was feuding with Cena, that was the perfect time to put the belt on him. He should have went over Cena. There should have been no qualms about that. He was one of the most charismatic. He still is one of the most charismatic wrestlers out there. You take a look at when the guy entered the business and, how he just looked like he was called Husky Harris and he looked like a nobody, and then they turned him into he turned himself into a somebody. I mean, that gimmick is all him. I mean, there's no way the WWE creative really could help a character like that because they don't really understand it. And it's a great character. He has a great look. I've always said this for years and years about Wyatt. I'm a massive fan of his. But changing his character, as much as I want to see something different from Bray, because we go through the same cycle. Bray has a feud. He calls somebody a liar or a deceiver. It's the same, it's the same cycle over and over. And You know, it never looks like Bray's going for any title. He has no interest in the world title. He's never in the world title scene. He was briefly. He held the belt for a month. I mean, this guy pinned Cena for the world title, and it's almost like it's forgotten about already. It's not even really mentioned by the commentators that he was a world champion. So people are now thinking that they might go back to the original plan that they were going to do during that horrible Finn Balor feud, you know, about turning him into Sister Abigail. And I would be all for that, but I just kind of feel like that would just be a gimmick for the sake of having a gimmick. Just to change it, just to freshen it up. I mean, if you're going to give somebody a gimmick change, at least make it, you know, crucial to the growth of that character. I mean, because we have not seen any growth from this character. Bray Wyatt hasn't really made any progress since he debuted in 2013. They broke him off from the Wyatt family. They put him back together, and they broke them off again. And, you know, now we're kind of like just going in limbo here with Bray. You know, they had the Matt Hardy feud that lasted for a few months, and while it might have, you know, had a nice conclusion with the Ultimate Deletion, you can't really say that there was, you know, that it felt like really fulfilling. They should have done so much more. It felt like they did nothing for months, and then at the end they just threw all their eggs into one basket. So, you know, I would be open to a character change, but do I think it's really going to be a good idea, and do I think it's going to be successful, and it's really going to lead to, you know, Bray really breaking out and finally becoming that world champion top guy? No, I don't think it's going to happen, because I've said it time and time again, as long as you have the goofballs heading creative, that just simply is not going to happen. So there you go, guys. Those are the news items for the day. I hope you enjoyed this, and if you want to see me do more of this where I just kind of like, you know, they're not Raw or SmackDown reviews or pay-per-view reviews or just random rants, but I'm just going down the dirt sheets and just telling you what's going on and what the latest news and rumors are, let me know in the comments. Alright, guys, until next time, and oh, by the way, subscribe to the Brad Rants channel, my secondary channel. The link will be down in the description. Alright, guys, being your YWC champ, I'm signing out.